coffee look great.
Thanks, babe.
Yeah. Are we recording already?
We're recording, but I can edit, I can start at any time.
So this part won't make it in.
This will not make it in.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Welcome to the 8th episode of Schooled.
Welcome, everybody.
I'm Jen. That's Brian. In today's episode, I am going to be talking about the Cicada-pocalypse.
And I am talking about Nostradamus.
Cool. I like that guy.
Yeah, he's old dude.
Old dude. Dead dude.
He's dead.
Very dead.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So before we begin, in honor of the solar eclipse happening on Monday, the total solar eclipse, it's not an annular, total solar eclipse happening on Monday, I wanted to give some quick facts about the eclipses. Just
Okay.
because it's preparedness, it's good to know.
Okay.
So Mexico will see the longest totality during the eclipse.
All right.
Too bad we didn't need to go to.
Do you know how long that is, by
I am going to tell you. It's going to be 4 minutes and 28 seconds.
All right.
Yep. In the U.S., the areas
just enough for it to be a little boring.
Nah.
To me, it'd be like around 2 minutes. It's like, okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and didn't my mom we can't take pictures? Didn't my mom say it's gonna ruin your camera?
Well, no, I have one of those little I have a film that you put over the top of the camera so you can take pictures.
Oh, God, you're prepared. Okay, cool. In some areas of Texas, it will reach 4 minutes and 23 seconds. So I guess going to Mexico isn't really worth it for those 5 seconds. But anyway, an estimated 31.6 million people live in the path of totality in 2024 compared to just 12 million in 2017. I remember.
Oh, wow. That's a huge difference.
Yeah, in 2017, we didn't have to move an inch to be
that was great.
100% totality. Yeah, that was great. And I literally remember telling my girls, I go, this is the last and only total solar eclipse you will see in your lifetime. Not understanding that it's just the last one that's in our area. You can just go drive and see another one. Right. So I didn't really get that at the time.
Well, that's probably because before that one, we didn't have one in our lifetime. Within a reasonable amount of distance to.
I remember one as a kid.
Oh, really?
Yeah, in grade school, because I remember.
I thought that was a partial, but yeah.
You know what? It could have been, but I remember them telling us more than 400 times not to look at the sun.
Yeah, I remember that too. I think it was it could have been a full, but you're right. It was a while ago.
It was, yeah. We were in grade school. A part of the sun, which is typically hidden, will reveal itself. So we'll see a glimpse of the sun's corona, which is the outermost part of it, which we typically don't ever get to see. So they said, be looking for flares. And
that'd be neat.
Yeah, it looked like a luminescence. Also, really cool, we'll be able to see 2 planets and a comet. So Venus will be visible, and it said 15 degrees west. What the fuck? Just look for a planet in the sky.
Right.
So we'll be able to
reddish.
Yeah.
Anything that's reddish, right?
Yeah, we'll be able to see Venus and Jupiter. So don't only be looking at the sun, also look around the sky. It's going to be a 360-degree sunset. So if you look all around the horizon, it'll look like a sunset all around the entire,
really
not
neat.
just in one.
Yeah, that's really neat.
It is really neat. So look at the sun, look at the planets, look for that comet I was talking about that I forgot the name of, and a 360-degree sunset. So listen, in those 4 minutes and 20 seconds,
we're not going to be bored.
We're not going to be bored. We're going to have lots of stuff. We're also going to be really cool because the temperature is going to drop. I remember that. It says it can drop up to 15 degrees Fahrenheit.
Pretty cool.
That is pretty cool. So bring a jacket. I'm not sure what the temperature is supposed to be tomorrow. Also, when you're done looking at the planets, the comets, and the sunset, listen for animals, because it literally starts to make the crickets chirp, and different animals start coming out that usually only come out at night. It completely confuses them.
Yeah.
So I don't know if
I do remember that.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to be in a park or where we're going to be, but up to 50 minutes before totality starts. So you'll start to see some crazy stuff like that. There'll be a long wait for the next eclipse in the U.S. It won't happen again until March 30th, 2033.
Okay.
And it will just be in parts of Alaska.
Okay.
All right. Well, hopefully you liked my solar eclipse facts.
Yeah, that was good. That wasn't your topic. That was like
That
a
wasn't my
bonus
topic. That was like, yeah.
And some of the people will see that after the eclipse, but it's okay.
Yeah.
It was still interesting for me.
I could actually post this tonight if you want me to.
Oh, I don't care.
Okay, so
It's
my
fine.
topic, the Cicadalypse.
The 15 viewers that we have won't mind.
I'm sorry, did you have anything to talk about?
Oh, why yes, I do.
Okay. Bring it on. Can I drink my coffee while you do
You
your...
can.
Okay, thanks.
This is a little bit interactive.
Okay.
But you'll be able to talk between sips. It's not going to be, there's not a lot of required from you. So
Okay.
in the spirit of one of the past episodes, I had asked you some questions.
Yeah.
To like kind of just help me out.
If you looked busier, I wouldn't ask you to do anything.
Yeah,
I just remember that being one of the options.
Yeah.
It made me giggle so many times after the episode.
Right. And since you enjoyed it, I figured I would kind of elaborate on that. There were some other ones that popped up after the fact.
Yeah.
And I'm not trying to be boring, but these ones are a little more just like, I've noticed things that guys struggle with in general. If I'm talking to my friends or.
Okay.
All right.
All right. So this is a self-help kind of a.
Yeah,
question?
for the whole.
Okay.
Anybody who's a man who thinks, I guess. I don't know.
Wait, anyone who's a man who thinks about what?
It's just a broad category. Yeah.
Okay.
So anybody that's thinking.
Okay, got it. I'm in it to win it. What are your questions?
So these are more, rather than being specifically for me, these are categorized to like help men as a broader audience.
Okay, understood.
If with their significant others.
Okay, so I am here to speak for all women.
Yeah.
Okay.
Significant others. Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Let's just dig right in. Question number 1. So these are multiple choice. When you ask a question similar to, do you think we need to move this dingy what's-it from point A to B in the house? Which of the following answers best represents how that should be interpreted? So a dingy what's-it could be anything.
Anything, got it.
A, you are looking for my opinion on the matter so you can carefully consider my thoughts. Then, after some thoughtful reflection, change course and evolve your plan as applicable.
Okay.
B, you would like me to smile and nod my head without using verbal affirmation. That was a good idea. Then remain silent and await further instruction after smiling and nodding my head.
Okay.
C, the word we actually means me, and I have 24 hours to get the stuff moved before judgment shall be cast down upon me. Okay.
Okay.
D, you actually mean we should move the stuff together. That's it. And then E, last one. I should be quiet and remind myself that all things will eventually pass over time. So just wait it out.
That's like basically E is ignoring me.
The way I phrase it doesn't seem like.
Oh, okay.
It seems a lot nicer than that.
Sure. Okay. So
I mean, I could see it being interpreted.
Do you think we need to move this? I'm looking for that sounds like a great idea, babe.
All right.
When
so
should we do that?
That's D, maybe? You actually mean we should move the stuff together? Yes. All right.
Because let me tell you something. If I thought something should be moved and I could do it by myself, I would have already done it.
You would have already done it. All right. Well, in hindsight, that seems like it makes sense, but this is why I need help.
Not to a man. Okay.
This is why I need help. Ready for question 2?
I am.
All right. When you tell me about how someone in your life is taking up a new hobby or activity, which of the following, this could be a friend, family member, coworker, which of the following best represents what you need from me?
Got it.
Okay. A, assume you also want to do the hobby or activity and you to sign us or yourself up.
Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Make a loud and long psht sound with an accompanied eye roll. Badmouth the said person for being so scatterbrained. Make a comment about how they can never make up their mind.
Okay.
C, I should say nothing, and after 5 or 10 seconds of you finishing your thought, move to another topic.
Oh, man.
Okay.
Okay, that's rough.
D,
all right.
Interpret your comment as a suggestion on something I should do to get out of the house so you have more alone time.
Oh, Oh, okay. I didn't see that one coming.
I mean, I guess E is like you just said it just for the heck of it. I didn't put that, but yeah.
Could be. Gosh, I'm going to say it really depends. I would go with something that we should do together.
Okay, so if you bring up a hobby.
Yeah. Oh, so-and-so's playing pickleball.
Like, wouldn't that be fun?
Wouldn't that be fun?
All right.
Or if I start with, can you believe ... That's probably the comment.
Yeah.
Babe, I gotta be honest.
So the context of how you say it is important.
Right. I don't know that that's helpful because it could go either way.
So I think I just need to, what I'm hearing is I have to pay attention to all the words you use and then deduce from there.
Deduce body language, actual words I'm saying,
right,
past history.
Right.
I didn't help you at all on that one.
No, you did not. You didn't. Ready for the third question?
I am.
I'm not putting you on the spot too much.
You're not putting me on the spot. Am I helping you?
The first one, maybe a little. This one I need a lot of help on. So when you make a statement like, we need to get you some pants, socks, shirts, jackets, shoes, nighttime clothes, undergarments, without making it into the form of the question.
Okay.
So you made a statement. Which of the following should I do?
Okay.
A, immediately get the fire pit going so the existing articles in question can be disposed of immediately without concern there are no replacements that currently exist. No boxers for the next day is a problem for future me.
It seems like your problem, yeah.
Okay. B, I should not answer questions that are not asked and say nothing.
Okay. All right.
C, assume that you admire my ability to get the most bang for my buck with clothing purchases, but that you really want to treat me with some new clothes for being a great guy.
Oh, okay. I like that one. Is that the last
It's
option?
not.
Okay.
D, the word we actually means me, and I have 24 hours to get the new garments before judgment shall be cast down upon me.
Yikes. Okay. I don't think the answer has been D once. But if I'm talking about you needing new clothes, you can assume that I am going to arrive in tow with clothes for you. I don't expect for you to take any action on this.
Really? Oh, that's great.
Other than when I arrive with the clothes, you need to be, if I buy you 3 shirts, there's 3 shirts that need to go in a fire pit if that's where you'd like them to go.
Sure. So it's a swap out.
It's a swap out.
Because I notice that sometimes there's less clothes that I need. Like I have clothes and then they're gone.
Oh, but they're just like not.
But then I don't have replacements, so then I have to scramble.
Oh, but they've been washed 500 times. Sometimes when I'm doing laundry, I'll just be like, "That's done." Okay, so you're right. Oh God, I'm the
worst. Well, that's why I'm asking for guidance here.
Sure. Yeah, I will go buy you the new clothes. Was that C? Because you're a great guy.
Sure, yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah. Okay.
I appreciate that.
You're welcome.
Glad we cleared that up.
Yeah.
All right. I'm putting a lot of pressure on you, and I just don't want to,
I feel no pressure.
When you ask a question like, do you remember when we used to do that activity blankety blank for all the time back in the summer, fall, of winter of 20 biggity bop? But after carefully listening and contemplating the question, I am almost positive we visited the city once. Or, even more confusingly, I honestly don't even remember skiing with you. Which of the following answers best conforms to your expected response?
Okay. All right.
Both of these took place, by the way.
Okay. I believe it.
You thought we went to a city many times, and then you thought we went skiing.
I believe that all of these questions have come out of real life situations.
Okay. So, A, answer, yes, I remember it fondly as though it was yesterday, babe, and then give you a long hug until you provide further instruction.
Oh, I like that one.
Okay. B, be honest and tell you that we only did the activity one time or never did it. I just feel like that might crush you. So.
Okay.
C, tell you that you must have done that with an ex-boyfriend, and then cue up an internal mental spiral into oblivion since you were thinking you were fantasizing about past relationships.
Okay, that's what you're going to do. So what's the next one?
But should I? D, I should be quiet and remind myself that all things will eventually pass over time, so just wait it out.
Again, ignoring me. No. Okay, so let's go with a combination of A and B.
Okay.
You can give me
so stay away from the spiraling.
Future tripping, spiraling. Yeah, that's just always just stay away from those. Yeah.
All right. Deal. All right. I kind of knew the answer to that, but it just I feel more confident now that it's coming from your mouth.
Right.
Last question.
Okay.
While on a walk in the neighborhood, I hear a statement like, look at how they arranged, planted, build the do-wits-it on their house or lawn.
Oh, fuck. Okay. Yeah.
Or garden.
Sure. I got it.
Okay. A, prepare my body and mind for a future lawn, house, garden overhaul. B, make a loud and long psh sound with an accompanied eye roll, badmouth the said neighbor for being so scatterbrained, and make a comment about how they can never make up their mind. I feel like that's a context one again. Like,
Sure.
it depends on how you.
So babe, you've grown in the last 20 minutes.
Just over these questions, I've literally learned
these questions.
I've learned
Do you
one
need
or two
me anymore?
things.
Can I go?
I've learned one or two things since we started. C, even though the word we was never used, assume the word we actually means me, and I have 24 hours to do the lawn house, to make the lawn, house, or garden better conform before judgment shall be cast upon me. Okay.
Do I judge you a lot?
No, I don't know why. It sounds really aggressive. You really are not. There's not a lot of judgment. It's more of like a
mental, internal.
Well, it's more of like
spiraling.
Or like you just expect me to get it done quick.
Okay.
I mean, really, you're not a very demanding person, so I don't know why I'm saying it like that, but
because in this moment
I'm trying to elicit.
I'm not asking you to do anything in this moment other than get through whatever your D is, so I can tell you what my answer is.
All right, D. Gotcha. I should be quiet and remind myself
No, stop. Just don't even read that one. That's not.
So back when I was reading C, should I have been quiet though when you were talking? Should I have done D while I was reading C?
But you should have learned from the last 20 minutes that just ignoring it and knowing that it's going to go away is never the answer. So, yeah, I would almost say not just with lawn projects, but anytime I'm saying, should we do this? You should prepare yourself for something.
So A, prepare my mind and body for a future overhaul. Got it. Understood.
Gosh, we've grown.
Yeah, I feel like we're better now.
Hey, can I prepare your mind, body, and soul for the cicada apocalypse?
Yeah, please do.
That's coming. I'm excited about it. This podcast, not the cicada.
I was going to say, that sounds nasty.
Because listen, here's what's going to happen. Billions or trillions, either way you look at it, a lot of fucking cicadas are going to come crawling out of the ground.
Is that really how many?
Yeah.
They said billions or trillions?
I saw several places that said billions, and I saw several places that said trillions.
That's insane. Okay.
It's a lot.
I'll stop interrupting.
It's fine.
That's gross.
And the reason that
is that just our yard?
I'll get to that.
Okay.
The reason why they're calling it a cicada apocalypse is because two types of cicadas are coming out at the same time, which hasn't happened since Thomas Jefferson was president.
Wow.
And the next time it will happen after this is 2245.
All right. Well, yeah, and it was a big deal because Thomas Jefferson got killed by them. So
we'll be get your news here, people. Listen, it's going to be real.
I just hope they don't attack any people this time.
Wow. Can't wait to hear this story. It's going to be a real party for them. Not so much for us.
So, no, that sounds horrible. It's horrible.
Before I go into why we're all going to die.
They started the Dust Bowl, actually.
Before I go into...
Sorry.
Oh, boy.
Okay, I'm going to try and zip.
Okay. Before I go into why we're all going to die, let me first just explain what a cicada is, okay?
All right.
So
it's a dinosaur, right?
It's a dinosaur. God, I actually taught every little thing. You think you're being really fucking funny right now?
I don't think I'm being funny. I'm just being annoying.
Everything that you're talking about, I actually talk about in just a minute.
Okay, I'm gonna.
Except for the Dust Bowl.
You know how I like
that was really
five
funny.
Other times I've done this. This time I'm really gonna listen.
I don't believe you. Okay, so it's an insect. Duh. They're large, like probably like the size of your index finger, unless you have a really big index finger. The thing that I always remember, like characteristically about them, was they had those really bright red eyes, and like they have these transparent wings, and their exoskeletons are on the outside, which literally is what an exoskeleton is. So that's what makes their body like so hard to crush. You know, when you really like step on one.
Yeah, that's so
I just got
gross.
goosebumps.
It's disgusting.
You hear like that crunch. It's so disgusting. It's because literally their skeletons are on the outside.
Yeah.
But it also makes them really strong and like rigid. Their body is, like corrugated cardboard, like got like the ridges in it.
Yep.
That's what they have. So they live underground in like an immature nymph state for their entire life, except for when they come out every like
however many years.
And then I'll talk about that in just a second.
What a boring.
Weird, right? And they just like feed on like tree roots.
Interesting.
And stuff. Yeah, it's kind of boring. They just live in this immature nymph state, and then when it's time to mate in whatever life cycle they're in, they come out of their hole, they mate, they lay eggs, and then they just drop dead. It's kind of weird.
Yeah.
The first cicada, I'll say sighting.
Sighting.
Not a sighting. It's like more
like an alien.
Sure.
First alien sighting, cicada.
Was recorded in Massachusetts in 1634. And they thought they were locusts, which is like where like the Bible.
Sure. That's like one of the plagues.
Yes. Yeah. So people panicked, obviously.
They thought it was the end of the world.
That's why they're associated with the apocalypse.
Cool.
And this is just like a double apocalypse. And I'll tell you why in just a second, which I kind of already referenced it. But so here's where your dinosaur reference comes in a minute ago. The earliest fossil evidence of cicada is from 250 million years ago. Wow. So they were around when the dinosaurs were around. So here's what's fucked up is that the meteor or whatever killed the dinosaurs, and these fuckers survived.
Yeah, that's amazing.
They're aliens, right?
Yeah.
They're like cockroaches.
Right.
They're worse.
That's all that's going to be left if we ever.
Bad as cockroaches.
That's basically all there will ever be left if bad things happen.
Oh, I hate them. Okay. So there are a couple different types of cicadas. And actually, there are thousands of species of cicadas, but they're separated into what's called broods, broods, based on when they emerge from the ground. They're grouped into two main types, annual cicadas and Maggie's cicada for periodical cicadas, known for their synchronized mass emerges, which occur in intervals of 13 years or 17 years.
Gotcha.
So brood XIX, what is that? 19?
Yep. Good job.
Come to the surface every 13 years. Last emerged in 2021. I remember that.
So brood 19 comes every 13
2011.
years.
Sorry. Yeah.
It's interesting. Why wouldn't they just call it brood 13?
Right?
To make it easier.
I don't know.
Let the letter writing commence.
Yeah.
Like that's something we could complain about. Let's bring it to the HOA.
Is that really what we want to spend our time?
Yeah, let's bring it to the HOA.
All right.
And then we'll.
What the fuck is our HOA going to do about it?
They do a lot of other stuff.
They really do.
So.
Okay, they're also called the Great Southern Brood. I don't know why, because they're in the Midwest, but moving on.
Yeah, right.
They are the largest periodical cicada brood. The next brood, which this is actually really interesting, brood XII.
Okay. 12.
XIII 13.
Yep.
Emerges every 17 years.
Yeah, they're just trying to fuck with us, dude. So 19 does 17 years, 13 does 17 years.
Also called the Northern Illinois brood.
Okay.
You know how loud cicadas are? Do you remember hearing them?
Yeah,
like
very
not only seeing their dead corpses everywhere.
Yeah.
Because they come out of the ground, they mate, they lay their eggs, and then they drop dead. Literally, that's their life. 6 weeks is their life.
Yeah, that's wild.
It's really fucking wild. But it's going to be loud. Cicadas are the loudest insects in the world. There's, like I said, there's thousands of types of species, but the Walker's cicada is native to the American Great Plains, and its song can reach 105.9 decibels. And I just equated that to something, and that's the sound of a power motor or a snowmobile or motorcycle.
Yeah.
They get up to 100 decibels. Imagine a billion of them
That's insane.
Okay, but and it says there's going to be 1.5 million cicadas per acre. It's going to be fucking loud.
Yeah, that's really loud.
Yeah. The African cicada.
1.5 million per acre.
Per acre.
Now I can see how you can get trillions.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just so much.
Yeah, because it stretches all across. I have a map. Seriously, I really do. I really will.
I believe you.
The African, it's like this breed in Africa. I don't know. I can't pronounce it. Is so loud that it's been recorded reaching a whopping 106.7 decibels, which is only 1 decibel louder. And that's louder than a chainsaw. That's so crazy.
Don't put your ear right near it.
So the what's making this sound is that they have these muscles and they like vibrate or move their muscles like up and down, and it creates like this clicking sound when they expand and contract, and that's what's making the sound. And it's basically like the male mating call.
Okay.
Do you have a mating call for me?
Sup, babe?
All right. You're mine.
Does that work?
Yeah, sure. That works.
Does that work?
So what's going to happen?
Yo, sup, babe?
Yo, sup. So what's going to happen? So like I said, they're going to dig their way out of the ground, and like they can come out of like little, like hundreds of thousands of them can come out of like little tiny holes all throughout your yard. They're under our feet right now.
Yeah.
Ugh. Their little red eyes shining, deafening song in the air. They're going to be here starting in early May, late April, early May, and this occurs every 221 years and will last for 6 weeks.
Wow.
So, and I said they come out every 13 years and every 17 years. They're going to come out at the same, these two different broods.
That's when it matched
It's
up.
the convergence.
Yeah.
Yes. And like I said earlier, they haven't been above ground at the same time since 1803. So what's going to happen is that there's going to
Jefferson.
be, they're going to be above the ground at the same time. So it's going to create mutant fucking cicadas.
Because they can breed together?
Because they can breed together because they're both above the ground at the same time.
That's pretty crazy.
Right.
It just sounds like we're heading for some trouble.
I know. And do you know, like
what if these mutant ones just stay out permanently?
Oh my God, stay out permanently? What if they start eating our faces off? Well, like anything. Oh my God, it's creepy.
We could have another Dust Bowl.
We could have another Dust Bowl. I found a quote that said that if you're allergic to shellfish, you should avoid eating the cicadas.
Okay.
What the fuck?
Right.
Okay.
Who's eating those?
No problem.
I guess if I was starving,
let me tell you who's eating them is our dogs.
Yeah.
Our animals are going to be eating so many of these.
Disgusting.
And there were a lot of places that I found that this is actually an extremely beneficial ecological thing happening because the birds and squirrels are going to be so well fed.
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, I'm sure there's a purpose for everything.
Yeah.
It's just gross.
Yeah. So, and then you know how everyone likes a good conspiracy. So there are lots of people saying that the Cicadalypse.
That's the main reason I tune into our podcast.
Is conspiracies. Well, there are people saying that this is not going to be a cicada apocalypse, that the two broods are not going to overlap. And this is where I found that map that comes in.
Okay.
So it basically says they're not going to overlap because this type of cicada lives here. This brood lives here. And this brood lives here. Let me tell you, they're within like 30 to 50 miles of each other. Gotcha. And you're telling me that you don't think in 13 years or 17 years, the last time you tracked them, that they haven't like migrated a little bit? Like there are fucking armadillos in Missouri. They live in Texas.
I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So like, don't tell me that they're not going to be overlapping because they absolutely will be. So like, here's the map and I'll like.
Yeah, you'll have to show that. So, but I can see it.
So like this is the first brood in the blue.
All right. So that's, what is that? Missouri,
Illinois, Louisiana,
Arkansas, maybe.
Oh, Iowa, a little bit Iowa. Yeah, this is the blue. And then here that they also come like right here. Okay. And then the brown right in like northern. So that's just Indiana, north. Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois, Indiana. Yep.
They like over like seriously you're
telling me. And then is that more brown underneath Missouri? Like all the way in New Orleans? Or is that a different color?
This right here?
Yeah.
That's pink.
Got it.
So I'm just saying, they're like, oh, they're not going to overlap. Bullshit.
Yeah, I could.
Don't tell me that. Okay, so because we're all going to die,
Sure.
And just kidding. But because there's going to be another Dust Bowl. Right. Just kidding again. I Googled some fun activities to do inside.
Okay. That's a really good idea.
Just because no one's going to want to go outside. And some of them were kind of like weird. And some of them were actually kind of like, yeah, we should do this. The first one was, I'm going to call it the toughest cookbook out there. And that's Julia Child's cookbook. And she has some real like 12-hour recipes.
Yeah.
Okay. The next one was kind of weird. Try a PowerPoint party. What?
Can't even imagine what that might be.
I don't know. And it says, use the presentation tool to create a weird and wild showcase of your favorite conspiracy theory. I thought you might like that, but I still didn't quite understand, like, what party? Are we like, then we're having like a virtual, because we're not going outside.
Yeah.
Like,
if we do that, we should just do a podcast at the same time.
Okay.
I mean, it's just like, it just sounds like a podcast episode if we decide to do something whacked out.
The next one was a fuck no for me. Quality time with your pets.
We do that anyways.
Ugh, God, I don't need more time with them. Give yourself a nail art manicure. Thought that'd actually be fun. Yeah. Not for you, but for me.
I probably won't do that.
You can go paint while I do this. Solve a crime. They have like podcasts to talk about crime stuff.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And you can like, I saw like a video of people like actually taking all of the evidence and like putting it up on a board and trying to solve the crime.
That'd be cool.
And then they also have just like the games.
That I would do the game.
Yeah. So yeah, we should think about that since again, we're not going outside.
That would be fun actually. I've always wanted to do one of those crime detective games.
Good to know.
It's really ominous.
Next one is weird. Start a seed.
Start a seed. Like plant a seed, you mean?
It was literally like get like an avocado seed or a fruit seed and put it in a cup and like nurture it.
So
that's like a 7-minute activity.
I was gonna say, so like, you're like, all right, everybody, we're gonna do this.
Weird. Spy on some animals. They have like live video. You can like tap into like zoos and like wildlife centers where you can watch animals. And I actually thought that was cool.
Yeah, that might be interesting.
And then I remembered, don't they have like live cameras like all over the world, just like outside places that you can just like tap in and just like
probably.
It just sounds cool just to kind of like watch people. Is that weird?
No, I mean.
Anyway. Okay, this one I actually thought you would like is have an indoor treasure hunt.
That would be fun.
That would be
I
fun.
like setting those up for the kids.
You do.
Like clues, and they go to different parts of the house.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So
that I would do.
So for 6 weeks, we need to keep ourselves busy with these kinds of activities because we're not going to be going to the winery. Yeah. We're not going to be going to the Zac Brown band concert, which we went to last night, which was awesome.
By the way, the Zac Brown band concert, my watch said warning decibel level over 90 for more than 10 minutes.
Dang.
And I thought of that because,
and it's going to be at
cicadas
105.
are louder than that. So that's pretty wild.
The sound there was pretty good.
It was a good sound. Good venue. Okay.
So this has absolutely nothing to do with cicadas other than I found this and I thought it was really interesting. So I did the Pentagon episode
I remember
a couple of episodes ago, and you brought up like there was this cryptology statue in the middle of the Pentagon. So I thought you might find this to be interesting, and maybe you even heard of this.
Cool.
So when I was Googling cicadas, this thing that had nothing to do with cicadas popped up. It's called Cicada 3301 Hunt.
Okay.
Have you ever heard of that?
Never. No, I don't think so.
Okay. It apparently
3301 Hunt. Okay.
Yeah. So it started January 4th, 2012. Okay. So it was an anonymous person, as far as I could find. Nothing was ever found about who posted this, and there's tons of conspiracy theories. So they posted a bunch of complex puzzles and challenges on various internet forums, inviting participants to solve them and potentially join a secretive organization.
No.
An anonymous message appeared on the image board 4chan, inviting
4chan. Yeah.
Okay. Inviting highly intelligent individuals to solve a series of puzzles. The puzzles involved a mix of cryptology, scenography, programming, literature, and other fields of knowledge. And they were just signed by 3301, and the logo used was a cicada.
Interesting.
It is interesting. So I found a whole bunch of posts like I solved the puzzle and meet the person who solved all. I think there's all but one puzzle that was solved or something like that. And there's just like lots of online communities and forums about it. And I just thought it was really, really interesting.
Yeah, that'd be cool to research sometime.
Yeah, I saw that they were speculated to be a recruitment process for a clandestine organization, a recruiting tool for a hacker group, an alternate reality game, or simply just an elaborate hoax, or for the CIA.
Yeah.
No one knows.
Sure. If the people that answered all of them, maybe they know, but.
Right? You think we can get those?
Actually, you said no. There was one that never got answered.
That's what I found. Yeah.
So they're probably in the secret group now, and then.
Yeah. But I just can't believe, like people like want to brag these days. Yeah. You know what I mean? And if you answered and found out, someone would want to brag about it.
Yeah.
Okay. So it's probably a hoax is what I'm saying.
I see what you're saying. Well, if I had a secret organization and I was inducting people, the first thing I would do is make them sign an NDA.
I understand what it stands for, but like my penalties, you're going to sue me. Okay. If you sue me for.
Well, if it's the CIA or something, they could put you in jail as
or
part
just
of the
murder you. Whoa.
Now we got CIA in a bus outside or wait, a van.
The CIA or the cicadas, the mutant cicadas.
Yeah.
All right, babe. Nostradamus.
Well, when you're talking about the Pentagon, we had FBI out there. So
I googled so many weird things.
Yeah, you're just trying to get us in trouble. All right, so Nostradamus, the train.
No, wait. Nostradamus or
Nostradamus. What did I say? Nostradamus.
Nostradamus.
Yeah, Nostradamus.
Okay.
I know
a little bit about this dude, and I find him to be fascinating. So I'm excited.
Yeah. So here's a train.
Okay.
So
all aboard.
Have we ever got that on the?
No, I'm too lazy.
Okay. So there's a train we had cicadas.
Yeah.
And I thought apocalypse, like locusts, which is funny because you brought that up. And I was like, oh, then there's this guy that had all these like prophecies, Nostradamus. Yeah. And I mean, whether his prophecies are true or not, I just thought of that.
Okay.
And so Nostradamus. So
you wondered.
That's the train.
You wondered
from your topic to mine.
You wondered if Nostradamus predicted the Cicadian apocalypse.
I didn't, but yeah. Okay. Because I didn't really know about that there was a convergence until you did this.
Okay.
So let's dig right in. Nostradamus, his full name was Michel de Nostradam, was a French astrologer, physician,
cool name,
and reputed seer who lived in the 16th century. That's it. Thanks everybody. Early life and education. That's this next topic. So sometimes I just blurt out.
I understand.
Okay. Early life and education. Nostradamus was born Michel de Nostradam on December 14th, 1503 in Saint Remy de Provence, France. So France.
Yeah, okay.
He was the eldest of 9 children born to Juan de Nostradam. I think that name's cooler. Juan de Nostradam. Jaume. So it's French. So who knows if I'm
right.
I'm saying it kind of like it's like Latino.
Right.
Juan, but anyways, maybe Juan.
Yeah, I was okay.
And Renair, who were both of Jewish descent but converted to Christianity right before he was born.
Okay.
He studied medicine at the University of Avignon and later in University of Montpellier, where he earned his medical degree.
Medicine. I just thought he was like a poet or something.
He did a lot.
Yeah, okay.
He did quite a bit. Yeah. No, you're good. I go into some of it, but I focus mostly on the prophecy part just because
that's what he's famous for.
Yeah. So in his medical career, he practiced as a physician during outbreaks of the bubonic plague in France. And the cool thing about him was, like, there's questionable things about him, but one thing he did that was really beneficial is he used the idea, and it's funny to say today, but he had the idea of using fresh water, changing gauze or like on wounds, and then he didn't believe in like where they used to bleed people out.
Oh,
they'd like
bloodletting.
Bloodletting, yeah. So they were like,
I was watching Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, you're sick? Here, let's poke a hole in you and let some of your blood out. It'll make you feel better. And he used fresh water, and so before they knew all about germs and bacteria, he was kind of he put 2 and 2 together and realized that maybe we shouldn't use the same water we go to the bathroom in to clean our wounds.
You know that I want to ask 100 questions about the plague now.
Yeah, I don't know any of that.
Okay.
But you can still ask them.
So how did some people...
I'm not sure. Sorry, go ahead.
How did some people get the plague and some not? You know what I mean? Like,
luck, I don't know.
Let's just say, I think it was something like 40% of the population was affected.
You're way out of my bounds of information.
I should have said 76%, but it was a lot. But like, how do they know? Like, doctors, that had to be very courageous to go work
just like doctors today too,
because they didn't know what was causing it. I think it was like bacteria in rats or something. I'm making shit up now. Okay, I'll do an episode on the plague because it's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Hopefully 5% of what you just said is right, and we can. But if it's not, oh well.
Clean water.
We're not professors.
No,
we're not historians.
Marriage
and family.
Ooh, you know what? These sound a lot like Wikipedia categories.
Or ChatGPT.
Oh, sure.
like I didn't go to like a college, university bookstore or library or anything.
God, do you remember when we were kids?
I didn't hit the stacks.
Anytime we wanted to research something, we had to go to the fucking library.
Yeah. I kind of miss it actually.
I know. It was like it was social hour.
You had to do more. You had to do actual research as opposed to
you had to know the
Google search and then click on a few things.
The library, what's it called?
My bibliography system, my
sister who's a librarian is probably like right now. Oh, she's not listening. Never mind.
Yeah. Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Dewey Decimal System. Yes. Marriage and family. Nostradamus married a wealthy widow named Anne Ponsard in 1534, and the couple had 6 children together. Unfortunately, only 2 of the children survived in adulthood.
Plague?
I think it was right around during that same time. Actually,
okay, then I can see how that would, being a doctor, go.
I don't know if I went into it, but I think he lost a wife before he had this second wife, and it was because of the plague.
Oh.
And so that's why he was so interested in.
Okay.
I should have put that bullet point in here, but yeah. So let me talk to you a little bit about the Inquisition. So, this is when anybody who is opposed to like Catholic ideology or Christianity was like put in jail. I mean, there's multiple things, and I don't go into the what's and the whys.
Understood.
But this is like, while he was alive, this is happening, right?
And he's a Christian. Okay.
Well, yeah, he was. Yeah, his parents were Christian, so that doesn't mean he was born Christian, right?
Got
it. So he was constantly afraid of being persecuted for heresy by the Inquisition, and I should have probably put this a little bit after, but the reason is some of the works he released. So the medical part of his life, nobody was mad about that, right?
Sure.
But you'll see there's a book, there's an almanac, and then there's a book specifically that they were like borderline. He was getting looked at.
So he was a little controversial. Okay.
So in 1530, here's just one example.
Okay.
In 1538, he came into conflict with the church in Agen after an inquisitor visited the area looking for anti-Catholic views. So this guy comes and he's like, who's not a Catholic? His brief imprisonment at Meiringen, I don't know, in late 1561 was solely because he had violated a recent royal decree by publishing his 1562 almanac, which I go into the almanacs more in a little bit. Okay. And he did that without permission of the bishop. So he got in trouble a little bit for that, but it wasn't enough to keep him in prison for life or anything.
Okay. Because he published something without.
Yeah, he published something about the bishop. So that kind of gives you an idea of what the age was.
Yeah.
So he managed to avoid serious repercussions because he studied prophecy, medicine, and astrology, right? And none of those fell officially into the bracket of anti-Catholic. But like if he would have said that he used sorcery and stuff to come up with his prophecies, then he'd have some more problems.
There's a possibility that I'm going to tie to what you're talking about right now with heresy with my topic next week.
No kidding.
Which is the...
Oh, okay. You're not going to tell me.
No.
All right. There's another important reason he stayed out of trouble, but I'll go into it a little bit.
Okay.
So it's a little backwards, but here's some of his literature work.
Because this is what he's
This is what I go for. Well, no, not necessarily. He wrote a bunch of stuff, but this is part of the reason.
But him like predicting one of these things the future.
Yeah, it's infamous. I don't know if that's the right word. No, because that's like what, known in a bad way. But it's definitely like questioned on whether he's really a prophet or not, right?
Sure.
So he wrote this first almanac in 1550. It was about that year. That's actually when he put his name as Nostradamus instead of his full name.
Okay.
So it was very successful, and so he started releasing almanacs frequently after that. And then I told you in 63, I think it was like he didn't get the bishop's permission. He got in a little trouble.
Okay.
So all those almanacs together are known to have contained at least 6,338 prophecies.
Oh, spanning what time frames?
I should have checked that, but it was right around, the 1550s on for several years. So a lot of prophecies.
Okay.
And I think it had to do with his success on the first one, right? The guy's got to make a buck.
Sure.
So, right.
For sure.
So he also released at least 11 annual calendars starting on January 1st.
Okay.
So this is like his side gig.
That's weird. Okay.
Or his real gig.
He's like a hustler.
Yeah, he's a little bit of a hustler, right? So it was mainly in response to his side hustles,
Yeah.
It was mainly in response to the almanacs that nobility and other prominent people from far away soon started asking for horoscopes and psychic advice from him.
Oh boy.
All right.
Okay.
So then there's another book. This is the most famous one.
Okay.
It's called Prophecies, the Prophecies,
Yeah.
A collection of 942 poetic quatrains in which he purportedly foretold the future events. The book was first published in 1555, so 5 years after the first almanac. It had been the subject of much speculation and interpretation ever since, even today.
Sure.
Dun, dun, dun. By dedicating, so I talked to you about how he stayed out of trouble.
Yeah.
He dedicated that book to King Henry II of France. And because of that, historians say that he kind of got out of a lot of problems.
Okay.
Because King Henry was so like, oh yeah, I got this book. This guy's awesome. He's like making me famous here.
Mm-hmm.
And I'll talk a little bit about the prophecies. I dig way more into that, but I want to finish his history first.
Okay.
So some of his, this is about his influence. Some people thought Nostradamus was a servant of evil, a fake or insane person. Well, when many of the elite thought otherwise. So Catherine de Medici, wife of King Henry II, was one of Nostradamus's greatest admirers. After reading his almanacs for 1555, which hinted at unnamed threats to the royal family, she summoned him to Paris to explain them and draw up horoscopes for her and her children.
Wow.
Right. So she's like, she's really buying into this. She's like, get this fortune teller guy over here.
Right.
And, he's either a genius or he's just like, I know if I talk about these topics, I can get some,
right.
So
he was the first TV psychic.
Yeah, exactly. And it's funny because I'll go into it. At the time, he feared that he would be beheaded. But by the time of his death in 1566, Queen Catherine had made him counselor and physician in ordinary to her son. So he got in good with this lady.
Yeah, he really did.
He got in good with her husband,
mm-hmm.
and he kind of used that as his bread and butter all the way through.
Absolutely.
By the way, the son was King Charles IX of France.
Okay.
If you're wondering. So, and then he died on July 2nd, 1566 in Salon de Provence, France. And it was said that on the evening of July 1st, he is alleged to have told his secretary, Jean de Chavigny, "You will not find me," this is in quotes, "you will not find me alive at sunrise." The next morning, he was reportedly found dead, lying on the floor next to his bed.
Would he kill himself? Did it say what he died of? Just old age? What was he, 60 by then?
It did not, but I also probably could have researched that a little more.
That's right.
I just thought it was interesting because they were trying to make it all mysterious.
He tried to make it sound like he
prophesized his death.
Do you think he predicted that 500 years later there'd be two people doing a podcast about him?
Absolutely not. Well, it might be one of the one of the quatrains, but
one of them.
He was buried at the local Franciscan chapel, but his remains were later reburied during the French Revolution, and their final resting place is unknown.
Oh, fuck. Okay, someone's doing some hoodoo on those. Voodoo, whatever. What's hoodoo?
Yep. All right, so I'm going to go into the prophecies literature more.
This is
and
what
actually,
I'm really looking
yeah,
forward to.
and I'll go into some of them and talk about what they, why people still talk about him.
Yeah.
So the process of him writing this is likely involved a combination of Nostradamus's knowledge of astrology, his understanding of contemporary events and trends, which would be like he knows who's in power, he knows what their hot buttons are,
right,
and his creative imagination. Okay,
hallucinogens.
It did not say anything about that in
okay.
here. So, but thanks for taking liberties with.
That's not fact.
Not that I saw it could have happened.
Okay.
Um,
Prove me wrong.
He claimed to have gained his prophetic ability through divine inspiration, visions, and meditation. Okay, so he didn't say anything about psychedelics in there.
Okay.
But
all right.
So here's a little bit of controversy with when he wrote this thing.
Okay.
Modern views of plagiarism didn't apply in 16th century. Like what we think of, well, you know what plagiarism is.
Right.
So in the 16th century, they didn't have those same thoughts.
Well,
so
who is he copying, though? I guess was my.
Interestingly enough, I'm about to go into that.
Sure.
Okay. So so authors would frequently copy and paraphrase from each other and not give each other credit, especially from like classic literature and things like that. So the latest research suggests that he may in fact used random. Okay, it's called bibliomancy. So it's like this. It's kind of like a magic thing.
Yeah.
So he would take a book, open it to any page, and then he would use that as like a starting point for his topic.
Okay. I mean, what's wrong with that?
Well, so I just thought that was interesting. There's nothing wrong with it.
Okay.
But then he wouldn't say anything about the person who wrote it.
How he got his inspiration or anything.
Yeah, so there's a lot of examples, but here's one. One of his major prophetic sources with Mirabilis Liber of 1522. That was the book title. And I'm sorry, I can't. It's Mirabilis and then another word, Liber, for anybody who would like to read that later. But it contained a range of prophecies by the author Pseudo-Metheus.
Oh, so we had competing prophets here. I see. This is an ego problem.
Well, so he took a lot of this other stuff that was in Latin and translated it into French and then just didn't change it.
Sure.
So it's kind of, he took from that, but then there's other books that they literally, there's like paraphrasing or word for word.
Okay.
Latin to French. Yeah. So that's
he probably was thinking that you're not going to be reading both. Was his
right? Yeah. He's like, if somebody knows French, they're not going to learn Latin. So
back then, did they know he was doing that, or is this later discovered? Like in modern times,
I think that was discovered later.
Okay, so people back then didn't.
They probably had no idea, especially if they were only knew one language, right? They didn't.
Sure.
There was no way for them to check. So, and then another controversy is the occult, like that he actually like got information from downloads and things. So some believe that he used techniques such as scrying. You know what that is?
Fuck yeah, I know. I've seen Charmed.
Yeah. So what is it? Just for people who don't know.
It's when you take a crystal and you like move it over,
gazing into reflective surface to induce visions.
Yeah.
Like a crystal ball maybe, or a mirror.
Dang.
Or automatic writing. So that's stream of thought, the stream of consciousness. Like James Joyce, that author, he wrote several books on stream of consciousness.
I feel like you're not writing it sometimes, but some days you are just literally spewing a stream of consciousness.
Sure. I don't stop talking sometimes. That is so true. But like this is like you're just writing whatever words come to your head, and then that was the prophecy, supposedly.
That's got to be real hard because back then, they had to do like the ink thing.
Yeah, and then to not think about what you're going to write next because it's supposed to be truly. Anyways, so you channel in that method, you channel predictions. Okay. Others argued that he simply applied his knowledge of astrology and historical events, which I already kind of said. Okay. That's the more boring one. All right. So let's go into these quatrains.
True it is. Okay, quatrains. And these are the different sections of the book.
Yeah. So this is the book, The Prophecies.
Okay.
And then I'll kind of go into, I'm going to use some examples and say why people think he might have some truth to his prophecies.
Okay.
And then maybe go above and beyond that with some other examples.
Oh, I can't wait. Sounds like I'm in for a treat.
All right. So some proponents of Nostradamus' prophecies point to events like the French Revolution, the rise of Adolf Hitler, and the September 11th attacks. There's a lot of American history I don't even remember. So,
I know, right?
so I'll memorize
like
all that first.
The Dust Bowl.
Then I will go back and do French.
Okay.
But at one point in history class, I learned all of this.
Sure.
The interpretation of Nostradamus' quatrains and whether they accurately predicted future events is a matter of much debate, obviously. All right, so let's pick one here. So this one is Century 1, Quatrain 35. So think about century when they say century, just say it's like book part 1. So part 1 of the prophecies.
Okay.
Century 1.
Like a chapter?
Yeah, chapter. Quatrain 35 is just the 35th prophecy in the first chapter.
Okay.
So here it is, word for word.
Okay.
And then I'm going to break it down.
Okay.
Break it down for me, fellas.
I really got to feel like I'm focusing on this because this is going to be words that are like above my head, right?
No, they're all.
Oh, okay.
So the young lion will overcome the older one. On the field of combat in a single battle, he will pierce his eye a golden cage. 2 wounds made 1. Then he dies a cruel death.
Okay.
All right, let's break it down.
Okay.
So this quatrain has been interpreted by some as predicting the rise of Napoleon Bonaparte. And is it Bonaparte?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Napoleon Bonaparte, right?
Napoleon.
Just Napoleon. Okay. I don't remember if the E is silent or not. I think it's silent. And his defeat of the older monarchy, specifically French King Louis the 16th.
I guess.
Okay, so this will break it down.
Okay.
So the young lion is often interpreted as representing Napoleon, who is known as the Corsican lion. All right, so they were making the leap there.
Oh, okay. So, okay.
The older one in the quatrain, the words older one, is thought to refer to the Bourbon monarchy, or specifically Louis the 16th.
Okay.
Okay. The golden cage, those words, is often interpreted as referring to the royal palace or crown, and 2 wounds made 1 may symbolize Napoleon's conquest of France, unifying the country after the chaos of the French Revolution. So, is it a stretch?
Yes. If it was really a prophecy, just say, listen, this dude named Napoleon is going to beat this other kid. You know what I mean?
Just all in all, it's like when you read a horoscope, not that I do this a lot, but if you see a horoscope on like
you will make a new friend, or
they're so vague.
Yeah.
It's like you use vagueness to make it so that people can find meaning.
Yeah.
So, but I'll get a few more here. So you be the judge at the end. Century 2, Quatrain 24. This is a fiercely debated one.
Okay.
By
Bring it on.
A couple people on Reddit.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. This is actually a pretty popular one that people bring up when they want to say that he's full of crap or not full of crap.
Okay.
Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. I'm trying to read it with a little bit of excitement.
Yeah, I like it.
The greater part of the battlefield will be against Hister. Hister is capitalized like a name.
Okay.
Hister.
Okay.
That's important. Okay. Into a cage of iron will the great one be drawn.
Okay. He talks about a lot of wars.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not done. Sorry.
No. So into a cage of iron will the great one be drawn when the child of Germany observes nothing.
Oh.
Now I'm finished.
Oh, okay. All right. I can maybe see where you're going with that.
Okay, go.
I'll for once.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'll let you go.
You are?
You're going to let me go?
Yeah, well, you have an idea of what it might be.
He's talking about Hitler and Germany.
It sounds pretty close to Hitler and Germany.
They invaded any country.
Right. So is he a genius?
No.
Okay, well, you just seem to you
What does the word Hister mean? I guess that's it.
So they do think it's Hitler. So I'll break it down again like I did the last one.
Okay.
So as you guessed, the popular interpretation of this one suggests that it predicts Adolf Hitler in World War II. And here's a breakdown. Beasts ferocious with hunger will cross the rivers. This line is often interpreted as representing the German army, which is likened to ferocious beasts hungry for conquest, crossing rivers during military campaigns.
Okay, so any river. I didn't know if there was like a famous river that was like, okay.
Well, they beat so much.
Okay.
They conquered so much. It's like pick a river,
Right.
All right. So the words, the greater part of the battlefield will be against Hister. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hister is often seen as a misspelling of Hitler. Okay. So you made the leap there.
Whatever.
Well, I mean, he was channeling.
The only reason I made the leap was he said the word Germany.
Well, he was channeling his thoughts and he just had a typo. So
Sure.
just give the guy a break.
Okay.
In this interpretation, it suggests that the majority of the conflict will be directed against Hitler, the leader of Germany during World War II. Mind-blowing. The next phrase, in a cage of iron will the great one be drawn. Okay. This line is understood to represent Hitler being drawn into a situation akin to trap or confinement, symbolized by the cage of iron.
Was Hitler put in a cage of iron?
The next words, when the child, no, I didn't research Hitler. I don't think so, though. Like, didn't he die in a bunker?
I was going to say.
It could be if you consider a bunker
that
model.
Was iron, yeah. He killed himself.
Right.
He killed himself, right?
Yeah.
Shot himself?
Oh, I don't know about
that.
Did. There's a lot of controversy.
You're right. There is.
We should do another one on that, maybe.
Okay.
But I think it's debated.
Yeah.
I mean, there's people that say that he lived. So, right?
I know.
I don't believe that, but
no.
When the child of Germany observes nothing, that's the next section.
Okay.
This is interpreted as suggesting that Germany, under Hitler's rule, will be blind to the impending danger or consequences of its actions, which,
sure,
that was true at the time.
That's pretty much true.
So honestly, if Hitler and Germany weren't in the same quatrain, nobody would ever make that leap.
No.
So one more? You want to do another one?
Okay.
This one's important because it has to do with the eclipse.
Oh.
And so I thought it was a good one.
Yeah. Okay. Let's do it.
Century 3.
Wait, how do you know it has to do? Okay. Go.
Century quatrain 34. When the eclipse of the sun will then be. So that's how I knew. Because it literally says that.
Sure.
The monster will be seen in full day. Quite otherwise will one interpret it. High price unguarded. None will have foreseen it. Some interpretations suggest that it may be related to a solar eclipse, and potential significance. Right. So the words, when the eclipse of the sun will then be, this line refers to a solar eclipse, a celestial event where obviously the moon passes between the sun. Right. You just did a lot of this. So I did. I don't really need to read it. Okay, the words, the monster will be seen in full day. The term monster here is open to interpretation. Some suggest it could be a metaphor, refer to a metaphorical or symbolic representation of a significant event or figure, while others propose it as a literal interpretation, possibly indicating a monstrous figure or event. I'm thinking, based off of your cicada thing, literally the monster is a cicada. So there's going to be eclipse. We're going to have cicadas.
Yeah.
Let's see what else.
Or they're talking about that comet. Not that it's going to hit us, but anyway.
Could be. Quite otherwise, the words quite otherwise will one interpret it. This line suggests that the event or phenomena will be interpreted differently from what it actually signifies, implying confusion or misrepresentation. So let's just go with this solar eclipse thing. So solar eclipse, you got the monsters, cicadas.
Right.
And then you've got some people saying this is Revelations, biblical, the apocalypse. And then you got other people saying like, it's just science.
He's a genius.
You've got the interpretation. And then the last line, high price unguarded, none will have foreseen it. This could suggest that the consequences or costs of the event will be unexpectedly high and that it will catch people off guard without prior anticipation. I mean, a new Dust Bowl would be expensive.
You know what? You're right, because remember how I said the very first cicada event was documented in 54. So
yeah. All right. So I have one that I wanted to see. I started researching more of these quatrains. There's a lot of them.
Yeah, you said there's
and
like
900. And a lot of them are not very known very well because they don't seem to predict anything actually, or what people that believe in Nostradamus say is that it just hasn't come true yet.
Oh,
so
snap.
Over an infinite amount of time, I'm sure they'll be able to tie all of these.
You're gonna give me some?
Well,
are we gonna predict your predictions?
So here's one that I saw, and I kind of made a tie to as a prediction to something somewhat current.
I'm ready.
All right. So let me read it to you like I did the other ones, and then I'll break down what my thought process is.
Okay.
Century 2, quatrain 44. This is real, right? This is the part that I'm reading from the prophecies.
Right.
One day, the two great masters will be friends. Their great power will be seen increased. The new land will be at its high peak. To the bloody one, the number recounted. Okay.
Is that the end of it?
That's the end of it.
Another fucking war. Okay.
All right.
In my mind.
Yeah. Anything else?
No.
All right. So I thought this was a reference to Game of Thrones, which is kind of weird that he would prophesize a story that another person would come up with, which would be eventually made into an HBO television series.
Reality. Right. Okay.
So, but you know what? He just did stream of consciousness when he was writing and what is it? Scrithing.
Okay. Break it down.
When he was looking at his crystal ball,
right.
He was like,
on his hallucinogens.
Yeah. So I tried. People get really sensitive about Game of Thrones because a lot of characters.
Wait, should we do a spoiler alert? Maybe people.
We should. That's where I was going.
Okay.
So, spoiler alert, and I do change the names to protect the innocent that haven't watched this Game of Thrones. But if you're going to watch Game of Thrones or you're like not done with it, this does kind of go into the very last part of the story. So maybe shut this part off and then or just fast forward the next like 30.
We'll give you 2 seconds to adjust your microphone.
Yeah, do like a minute and tune back in. All right, so this, I said it's obviously Game of Thrones, and you'll see why.
Obviously.
So changing the names, Jon Snork and Danny T hook up and defeat everyone. And they can be.
Do.
So the word that was to the one day the two great masters will be friends. I'm thinking it's Jon Snork and Danny T. So good luck. Hopefully if people have seen this, they'll understand.
I'm never gonna figure that one out.
Really? Oh, okay. Good. I want it to be obvious, but not. To the bloody one, the numbers recounted. That's kind of like, they have a slight falling out.
I'll say.
It's just, a small. They're like
couldn't quite get over.
It's the best of times and maybe the worst of times.
Maybe massacring an entire
city.
Yeah,
and it could be interpreted as bloody, but it just depends on how you viewed it or read it.
Sure.
And then the sentence, the new land will be at its high peak. A new leadership emerges, bringing the land to its peak.
New leadership does emerge.
So I think after I read that, I was like, man, this guy really can interpret some shit. So
that's convincing.
Yeah, I like the Hister thing was just, it was loose, but like he nailed Game of Thrones.
All right, well,
that's all I got.
We should ask everyone for their opinions, and maybe we should post a couple more so people can write and do their.
All right,
their
that's fine. I can do that.
Their predictions on those. That'd be funny. Well, that was interesting.
Good.
I guess I kind of led on to what my opinion is about that, but I'll let the audience decide.
Yeah, it's kind of like throw a bunch of vague crap out there and see what sticks type of thing, in my opinion. Right. Now, I do think he had some good qualities too, like his medical,
oh, for sure,
helping people in the plague. He had a passion for that.
For sure.
I just want to make sure all his descendants get a fair.
Absolutely.
Fair speaking, but then
we don't want
the rest of it is just kind of like a. What was that lady that did the telephone thing in the 90s? Cleo. Yes. Miss Cleo?
Yes.
He was a Miss Cleo.
Sure, absolutely. Yeah. The first psychic. I said TV psychic, but phone psychic was also
a good one too. A ton of money.
Okay, well, listen. Everyone stay indoors for the whole month of May. I gave you guys some great suggestions, and there's plenty more out there. I just gave you the weird ones and the ones I thought
read
that
the prophecy too.
And go read the prophecy. We'll see you guys next time.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you all for listening. That's a wrap for today. Remember, this is not just a podcast, it's an interactive experience. If you've got a burning topic you want us to try and butcher next, drop it in the comments below. And if we pick your brainchild, you might just find yourself sitting in the hot seat as our honorary guest host. Be sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an episode, and follow us on all of our listening platforms. Until next time, stay curious.